Welcome back to the John Daily Sports Number, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes in the sports industry. So we are taking care of business. Let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today we're going to be talking about my reactions to the NBA playoffs so far, my thoughts on who won the NFL draft, and finally, my thoughts on Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th round and the 144th pick in the NFL draft. Well, guys, let's start with the NBA playoffs. Sorry. These playoffs have been amazing. I mean, the officiating, I've loved it. We're going to get into it later, but overall, the officiating has been amazing. I like how they've let them play a little bit. I like how it's gotten a little physical. It's been low-scoring games, and it's been really intriguing to watch. And one of the series that I'm going to talk about, we're going to start with here, is the Clippers-Nuggets. The Clippers-Nuggets is milliseconds away from it being a 3-1 Clippers lead in the series. And I think the Clippers are going to win this series. I'm not confident enough to say in 6, but I'm confident enough to say in 7 just because of how good they are defensively. Kawhi is back and playing like playoff Kawhi and how Kawhi always plays when he's healthy. Harden is playing at an All-NBA level, almost like Houston Rockets Harden. Norman Powell had a career year. Ivanka Zubac had a career year. All of these guys are having career years, and the Nuggets are literally Nikola Jokic, who, by the way, I have such an issue with the fact that he is constantly complaining to the refs, going, what are you doing? Constantly flapping his arms and his hands. It's one of the most annoying things. You are a three-time MVP, and you are complaining to the refs every single time you go up with a shot. Why? I don't understand it. You get most of the calls. I understand, yes, they made a bad call when they called Zubac on the defensive foul and then you on that offensive foul on the baseline. Okay, that's one bad call. But the NBA officiating, it's not great, and we've been knowing this. And you just constantly flailing your arms and complaining is not going to win you a series. You and your team need to win the series, not the officiating. Now, I don't understand how you can complain and expect to win the series. And I'm talking about this right now. The Nuggets are just not deep enough. Jamal Murray isn't a number one. We know this. Michael Porter Jr. is not consistent enough to win consistently with him. Russell Westbrook, I love Russell Westbrook. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's been one of my favorite players. I love how explosive he is. I love how he plays the game with sort of a dog and a moxie. He shouldn't be taking 10 to 15 shots in a game. That's it. Just where Russ is at in his career, he should not be taking 15 to 10 shots in an NBA game. It's just, that's not what Russ should be doing anymore. He's a great role player. He's a great bench player, and he knows that. But if Russ is taking 15 shots a game, that just shouldn't happen. And that's just why I think that the Nuggets don't have enough talent to compete with the Clippers, honestly. And just I think it's just the component that I'm a big Clippers believer, but it's also that the Clippers are a great built team to succeed in the West, and the West is a wild west as the next series I want to talk about. I mean, I'm not actually in between these two series. I want to talk. I'm not really going to touch too much on the Thunder because we knew the Thunder were going to win. We knew the Cavs, they're going to win tonight. They're going to clinch tonight. And we know the Celtics are going to win, even though the Magic got one game on them. We know that they're going to win. So I'm not going to really touch on those games just because we know what's happening. But this next series, the Lakers-Timberwolves, I mean, Lakers and the Timberwolves, guys, could not be more perfect for me. I knew that going into this, the Lakers were going to be challenged with not having a big man. And they could not be more evident than ever. The reason why the Timberwolves have won these games, you can show me two stats in a basketball game, and I can tell you who won. One of them is turnovers, and the other is rebounds. The amount of offensive rebounds that the Timberwolves have gotten in this series is insane to me. Also, Jaden McDaniels has proven that he's a great 3-and-D player. His improvement in this series and in the playoffs over the span of the last 2 years is crazy to me. He is the difference maker for the Timberwolves in this series, and the reason why they are winning these games because of how well he's playing. I mean, guys, in the playoffs, he's averaging 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. But still, compare that to his regular season where he was averaging 12 points and 5 rebounds, or just more like 6 rebounds. He's having such a dramatic impact, and also he's shutting down them on the Lakers on the defensive side. I mean, you can't really shut down Luka, but you can try. But the Lakers, Jackson Hayes, we know this is not a starting caliber center, and when Dorian Finney-Smith is coming into the game as your backup center, there's something wrong. The Timberwolves have realized that how much more size they have over the Lakers, and they're just going to keep on doing it. The Timberwolves are going to win this series in 5. I think they're clinching it next game no matter what. It could be 2-2. That call on LeBron was one of the worst officiating calls I've ever seen. They weren't even reviewing it to see that. They challenged to see if the ball was out on LeBron, and instead of calling it out on LeBron, which it clearly wasn't, they ruled it a foul, which was not. It was not a foul. I don't care what you say. If you're watching that game, that was not a foul. The next series I want to talk about is the Knicks and Pistons. I mean, this series, even though it's 3-1, all of these games have been winnable games for both of the teams that lost. And this was another one that is really frustrating, especially for me. I know the NBA is one of the worst officiated games, or probably the worst officiated game in all professional sports. It's with MLB, NFL, NFL, NHL, MLB, Olympics, like any professional sport. I think the NBA is the worst officiating wise. They lost the Lakers the game and they lost the Pistons the game. And I'm not saying that. I didn't really think it was a foul, but I could see where it was. The refs come out after the game and acknowledge that, yes, it was a foul. And that is, I mean, it's more, if I was a Pistons fan, I would be livid considering that the refs lost us this game where it could be 2-2 going to New York, but now you're in a 3-1 hole, and you're facing one of the hardest things to come back from is a 3-1 deficit. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if I feel like the Pistons, out of all the teams in the playoffs, could be the team to come back from a 3-1 deficit, just because of how deep and how gritty they are, how they've sort of adopted the Detroit mentality with their team. They're really gritty. They tried to emulate the bad boy Pistons. That's what I think. And the next series that I want to talk about is probably my favorite one. Also, the one that I've been telling you guys about and the one that I've been correct on, the Warriors-Rockets. I told you guys, playoff Jimmy and Steph Curry are an issue and are going to be an issue in the playoffs. That's why I firmly believe this, and I'm saying this, and this is a hot take, I know, but I think the Warriors are going to be the first ever 7 seed to win an NBA championship. Yes, you heard me say that correctly. I really do. I believe in Steph Curry. I believe in playoff Jimmy. They're up 2-1 right now against the Rockets. Curry in the playoffs is averaging 29, 6, and 7. Jimmy's averaging 14, 4, and 3. And they're just a really, really deep team. I mean, Steph Curry has not really... It's been the Steph Curry show. And also, they've held the Rockets outside of Alfred Sengun to basically no one. Jalen Green has been okay. Amen Thompson's been okay. Also, remember how people were saying that Amen Thompson was going to clamp up Steph Curry? Yeah, where's that gotten you? Nowhere. Steph Curry is one of the hardest people to guard. Just because you shut him down in the regular season does not mean you can shut him down in the postseason. We've seen that proven in this postseason. We've seen that proven in every postseason that this guy has been in. And Steph Curry is the second best point guard of all time, and I think if he wins this championship, there's an argument you can put him past Magic. I won't, but I can definitely see the argument where you can put him past Magic Johnson. And all of these games have been great games. I do think the Warriors go up 3-1 tonight, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. If you think that the Rockets win this one and go back home and try to even out the series and potentially win the series. But I can't see the Rockets beating the Warriors just because of how deep the Warriors are, and Steph Curry is that dude, and we know that. The next topic of the day, guys, I want to talk about is the NFL draft winners, and I have two. Um, the Giants, even though I'm an avid Giants hater, they are one of the worst franchises in the NFL. They're not run well. Their GM's dumb, I think. But this draft, he kind of fixed that for me. You have an elite defense now with Carter, Thibodeau, Burns, and Dexter Lawrence on that D line. That is one of the scariest D lines. And I'm a Bears fan, so I know you don't need a great quarterback play. And you have Russell Wilson, who can give you good, solid, mediocre quarterback play, which is exactly what the Giants need right now. They don't really have a legit RB1. I would not call Tracy an RB1 yet. I think he needs to prove a little more. But Neighbors is that dude at wide receiver. I think the defense is so great, and you also draft Jackson Dart, which we'll dive in later why I think they shouldn't have drafted Jackson Dart, but they have an elite defense, and if you can get just mediocre play from Russell Wilson, where he doesn't turn the ball over, the Giants could be an actually scary team this year. I really believe that. I think that because of how good their defense is going to be, we know that they're going to get the amount of pressure and just bad throws that they're going to make opponents make. It's going to lead to turnovers, and it's going to lead to them being in games and winning games. And they're going to be a scary team. I'm really interested to see what they do with Jackson Dart. Are they going to play him right away, or do they kind of put him under Russell Wilson's wing and let that go? But no, the Giants in the draft of Jackson Dart, that's an exciting quarterback. Even though I don't think he's better than Shedeur Sanders, I do think he's an exciting pick, and I like the pick a lot. Now, the next team that I want to talk about that I think did really well in the NFL draft was the Browns. You trade out of the number 2 pick for the Jaguars, and yeah, you gave up arguably one of the best players we've ever seen come out of college in Travis Hunter. But you get Mason Graham, you draft Quinshon Judkins, you get Shedeur Sanders, and you get a first-round pick for next year's draft, which is most likely going to be another top 10, even top 5 pick with already the Browns. The Browns are not going to be good next year. So the Browns, not only did they draft, their first 2 picks were great. Their whole draft overall was a really great draft. But they also get a pick next year, and they're going to have probably 2 top 10 picks. And I like to relate a lot to the Bears of last draft, where they had number 1 and number 9. I could see them in a very similar situation as the Bears were, and they could get one of these top quarterback prospects coming out. So it's really an interesting thing. I think the Browns could be back in this playoff sort of hunt and search in the probably 2 years, honestly. But you never know with that drafting of Shedeur, and that's a perfect segue into my next topic. I'm going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. I have to. You guys know I'm a Colorado fan. I'm a bandwagon for Deion and Shedeur and Travis and all that, but the fact that Shedeur Sanders was not a first-round pick is mind-boggling to me. He ranked, here are some numbers, and this is my personal opinion. I think he was the second-best quarterback in college football last year. I think he was the second-best quarterback coming into the draft this year. And here are some numbers to kind of back up my argument. He was 4th in passing yards, 2nd in passing TDs behind Cam Ward, who was the consensus number 1 pick, 5th in passing efficiency, 2nd in completions per game, 1st in completion percentage, 3rd in passing yards per game. And do I need to say more? Because Shedeur Sanders, even though a lot of people say he throws it short, so what? He completes the ball, he's efficient, and he had one of the worst offensive lines in college football history for the past 2 years. Now, last year was an improvement, but improving on one of the worst offensive lines we've ever seen in college football history does not mean much of anything, considering how bad they were his first year at Colorado. And Shedeur Sanders, I'm telling you this now, is going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm telling you, if he wins this starting role coming out of training camp, he's going to be Rookie of the Year because of just he's a first-round quarterback that fell to the 5th round. That just doesn't happen in the NFL, and it's going to be fixed. I'm telling you this, guys. And if you don't believe me, just watch. Wait till it happens. And another reason why I really do think he fell is it has to be an issue with Deion Sanders and how they don't want to deal with the luggage that comes with that. But any team that knew you're going to get some luggage with Deion. Now, maybe, yes, Deion does a little too much, but he's one of the best athletes of all time. He's the best cornerback of all time, arguably one of the best defensive players in NFL history. So I'm going to deal with that baggage if I'm a Browns fan because Shedeur Sanders has that potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, I think. And the people that prank called him need to just check up. If you know these people, check on them. That is one of the worst things I've ever, and it's one of the most embarrassing things that I've ever witnessed and kind of associated with, because I'm not an NFL player, I'm an NFL fan, and the people who did it were NFL fans. So I don't understand where you do that. You are dealing with someone, Shedeur Sanders here, who was projected to go in the first round pick. Everyone thought he was going to go in the first round, minimum second round, and he fell all the way to the fifth round. He's dealing with all that, and then you call him and kind of just mess with him. And I have a real issue with that. I have a real issue with teams not picking him just because of his dad. You can't control the situation that he's born into. He's come from one of the best athletes of all time in Deion Sanders. You can't control that. He doesn't want that. He's just born into that. He's born into the world with that sort of swagger and that moxie that he's the best there is, and he's going to be the best there is. And I really do think by the end of his career, Shedeur Sanders could be, and I think can and will be, one of the best quarterbacks in Browns franchise history. And I think he'll be a mainstay in the Browns, and the Browns will be leaning on him a lot when they need to make the playoffs or when they're on that playoffs. I think if you give the ball to Shedeur Sanders in his rookie year, I think he could be a really good piece for this Browns team in the franchise. And hey, I could be wrong. I totally get it, and it's a bold take. I get it. But I really like what the Browns did in this draft, and I'm really rooting for Shedeur Sanders. But thanks for tuning into today's episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we talked about what I thought about the NBA playoffs so far, my NFL draft winners, and finally, why I thought Shedeur Sanders is falling and what I think he will become in the NFL. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I tackle the hottest topic in college sports and beyond. It's a two-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest take in sports. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll be making room for dessert with some dessert-worthy sports info. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John, signing off.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.